Hi everyone, this is Shaista from Credo Health and welcome you all to this conversation on what to eat and what not to eat. I'm not kidding. We're going to discuss on the different kinds of diet and to tell us more, we're going to have Arpita, a nutrition head from Credo Health. So just hang on there while I invite Arpita to this conversation.
Hi, Shaista. Good evening.
Hi, Arpita. Great to have you here.
Hey,
So
same here.
yeah, so I was just telling people, we are going to discuss about what to eat and what not to eat. I mean, we get here to, kind of discuss about different kinds of diets and the confusion that follows. I mean, it's so confusing. Somebody prescribes this, somebody prescribes that. Try this, try that. It works for me. It doesn't work for you. So much of confusion around this entire thing. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely, Shaz. That's so true. It's always like we have more the choices, then it becomes more confusing. And with a diet, it's a very hard closed thing that the food, what the control we have. So there is a time where we all would have plunged into trying different type of diets just because it worked for my friend, it worked for my parent, it worked for my sibling. So yes, but without trying to understand the science behind it, sometimes it can do more harm than help. So it's very important to know what kind of diet suits us and our health goals. So yeah, it's utter confusion out there.
I know there's a lot of confusion, but I guess it definitely, as you said, it would help to understand the science behind each diet. So probably what we can do is we can have a discussion on each one of those diets and
Yes, it would be interesting, right? We can do that.
okay, let's start with paleo then, because I know that a lot of people have been talking about the paleo diet and how it helps, especially for people with diabetes and all that. So can you throw some light on the paleo diet?
Yeah, you picked up a very right kind of diet to ask about first because paleo diet is the Paleolithic era. That is the historic era when we were more of hunter and gatherers. So we would gather, we would hunt, whatever we would hunt, we would eat. So this kind of diet is something which a caveman type of diet. So it means that time there was no agriculture, there was no farming. So what paleo diet actually says is we need to eat anything which is unprocessed. For example, you can eat your fruits, your vegetables, but you cannot eat cereals or pulses because they are all part of agriculture. And you can eat your nuts, seeds, anything that is available in nature without it undergoing any farming is the Paleolithic type of diet. Of course, seeds, nuts, I think I already mentioned, fruits, vegetables, but no cereals, no pulses. So that is more of and no, for that matter, no salt also. Somebody who follows a strict paleo diet will not have salt also because salt came in only when industrialization came in.
Got it. So I think you transported me to my, kind of back to the and it reminds me of the cartoon Flintstones actually.
Yes, the Flintstone, right?
Yes, that used to be my favorite cartoon. Right. And a lot of my friends keep, talking about vegan. Hey, I'm vegan. I don't have this, I don't have that. And even when we go to hotels and all that, they say, is there some vegan food that I can order? So what's this vegan food all about? Because I think it's catching up with a lot of people and especially with celebrities as well.
Right. So vegan type of diet is there, but vegan type of lifestyle is what it is in the larger umbrella. So these are the type of people, of course, vegan diet is in vogue, as you said. They are doing it for health reasons. But there are other people also who are doing it for ethical reasons and for environmental reasons. For example, they do not like the cruelty that goes into animal farming, or they want to have less greenhouse effect, leave less carbon footprint on this earth. So these are the people who do for ethical and environmental reasons. But as a diet also, they are very compassionate towards animals. So they will eat only foods which do not come from animals. For example, not just meat or fish, or they even limit milk, cheese, paneer, curds, even for that matter, whey protein in all your gym going protein powders, casein, and for that matter, even honey, they do not consume. So apart from that, it's more of plant-based type of food. So that is what vegan diet is all about.
Okay, so I think this should definitely please the PETA guys and the Blue Cross guys, I
Oh,
guess.
correct, correct. You're so right. Yes,
It's more to do with the emotions rather than, science, I guess.
yes, yes.
Great. So I've also heard about people speak about Mediterranean diet.
Oh, yeah. So, yes, Mediterranean diet is about the traditional way of eating, about the people who used to stay around the Mediterranean Sea, France, Italy, Spain, all those, Greece. So, what it involves is, it is sort of, when you look at it, it is both delicious also, nutritious also. So, they do involve all whole grains, something which is healthy, whole grains, whole pulses, lots of fruits, vegetables, nuts, olives, and olive oil. Those exotic or expensive but good for health also type of oils. But again, they do not encourage consuming of processed food. Okay,
Oh,
and even for that matter, sugar or packaged food. These are the things that Mediterranean diet is all about.
okay, so you mean to say there's more of crunchy nuts and lots of color on the plate?
Lots of color, yes, definitely lots of color because yes, they encourage more of fruits, vegetables, but and seafood also, fishes also. But things
Okay.
like chicken or meat, very moderate. Even for
Hmm,
that matter, cheese and yogurt is also very moderate.
got it. And yes, I've heard a lot of folks talk about keto. Like, last week I had been to a restaurant and there was a board saying that we also have keto diet out here. So, I mean, and I also heard a lot from my friends that, I'm on keto and this is what I eat.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's become a
Yes.
fad kind of these days. What do you think about
Yes,
it?
yes, yes. Keto diet, again, it depends on what your health goals are and if it suits you. But keto
Hmm.
diet comes under one of the low carbohydrate type of diet. Okay, where you concentrate and you calculate so much percentage of carbs or grams of carbs as carbohydrates, and then you concentrate on healthy type of fats, and there is a cap on the protein part also. But the main purpose of keto diet is we want whoever follows the keto diet, we want the body to get into a state of ketosis. What it
Okay.
simply means is switching from using carbohydrates as their primary source of energy to using fats as their source of energy. So when you start using the stored fat from the body, it is converted into something called ketones, which start getting used in the body for energy. I mean, I'm going too technical, I think, but mainly keto diet is where you avoid certain food groups for a short duration of time, or maybe like a lifestyle also, where you don't eat again cereals, you don't eat pulses, you don't eat anything which is very high in carbs, sugars you don't eat. What you encourage is protein, and you encourage healthy type of fats. It can be from avocado, nuts, it can be chicken, fish, but yes, there is a little science and percentage behind it. You cannot go overboard. That's about keto diet in a nutshell. Like each of this topic, we can talk for hours together. So I'm just trying to get it all very quickly.
So you mean to say lots of chicken and eggs and paneer and butter and
No,
cheese, all yummy
I
stuff.
wouldn't say lots, but yeah, there is a calculation because I would just say don't Google up and do diets because it can be dangerous. So there are keto doctors, doctors who are experts in keto diet, nutritionists who are expert in keto diet. It definitely needs an expert advice.
Okay.
You cannot
So
just take off on keto.
okay. It has to be done under proper guidance, is what you're saying.
Yes, very important. Because see, keto diet was initially started for epileptic patient. So when a normal healthy person uses it, you have to be very careful.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, there's some Ajib sa word, Atkins or something like that, which just popped up. People talk about Atkins as well when I was doing my research. I heard about this word somewhere as a
Yes,
type of,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it was started by a cardiologist itself way back in 1940s or something. See, it is also a variant of a low carb diet. But see, even Atkins diets over the years, it has evolved. What it was before is not as what it is today. But here again, there is a restriction of carbohydrates, but proteins and fats is encouraged as much as you can have. For example, they in Atkins said they won't even tell you have only these kind of fats, like bacon is allowed, any type of red meat is allowed. I mean, as far as carbs are under control, your protein and fat can you can plunge into those, splurge on those. But also in Atkins nowadays, since it's evolved, they start with lesser amount of carbohydrates, and then they slowly increase. They have like 3 or 4 phases, and you get all Atkins type of bars and food products, and yeah, it's
Kind
again
of
one
goes up
time.
and down and up and down, right? It's kind of,
Yes, yes,
progressive thing.
yes, yes. True.
Okay. And see, what happened, Arpita, was last week I had been to a supermarket and I saw one whole section where it said
Mhm.
gluten-free food. I mean, I was
Oh,
like,
got it.
this is gluten-free food, and I kept reading about it, and I came to know that there was something called gluten-free diet. So I was like, definitely would like to understand from you what this thing is all about.
This is a little tricky in the sense gluten free is supposed to be given to the people who have a autoimmune condition called celiac disease, where the body starts acting against its own body and thinking that something going wrong, and there is digestion issues, there is some small intestine issue. So that's why that's why I said it's a tricky question, because only for these people who are allergic to gluten, we ask them to go on a gluten-free diet. What is gluten? Gluten is the protein part of certain cereals like wheat, barley, rye. So this is the protein part is called the gluten. So this is what acts like an allergen to the body. But what happens is with so many diets, somebody would have tried and they would have found some relief. Because when I say I'm not talking for it or against it. For example, now even the wheat what we get, it's not like the traditional MR wheat or something. Now with so much of hybrid crops and for fast harvest and for larger harvest, even the nutrition, everything is going down. So maybe for some people who are a little sensitive, they started avoiding and found some relief, and then it took off. Wherever there is a demand for something, the supply comes in, the marketing comes in. So yes, there are certain type of people who avoid and it's not just wheat, though people think when you see a food label, when they say it's wheat free, many people think it's gluten free. Not necessarily. There might still be barley there. Wheat word might not be there, but there might be maida, there might be semolina, so many things. So that's gluten-free diet.
Got it. And there are a certain class of people who just say, hey, I mean, just forget about cooking and all that. I'd rather have my food raw. I've also heard about, kind of people
Oh,
who, pick up raw food and eat. What's
raw
your take?
food diet. So no
Yeah.
cooking, right? Less time spent in the kitchen. No cooking. No
See,
no no fire. Less. It's a fireless cooking. So see, in raw food diet, it's most of the vegans, if not all, many of the vegans start following this type of diet. So here you don't cook the food, but there are other methods of cooking. They use juicing, they use blending, sprouting, fermenting. All these are allowed, but nothing with the fire. But all
mm,
food groups are there. Like, but most of them, as I said, are vegans. But some of them have raw eggs also, and some of them have dried meats also. It's just that you save on the gas. But that's on a lighter note, but they have a philosophy. So they follow that.
ability to have consume raw meat and raw eggs. I definitely don't see myself doing that
Yes, but
anyway.
that's why most of them are vegans.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Mhm.
Great. Got it. So I think, sometimes I've tried a lot of experiments on myself, and one experiment which probably I've tried with some element of success is intermittent fasting. See, especially
Ah,
if there's an occasion coming up and I want to lose those extra kilos that I put on. I tried intermittent fasting and it seemed to work for me. Like,
oh, great. Good.
oh,
And
it's
first of all, I'm
great.
glad
So,
it worked for you.
yeah.
So, intermittent fasting, I wouldn't technically call it a diet. Just like how the Mediterranean is not technically a diet, it's a guideline. In the same
Mhm.
way, intermittent fasting is the method of eating, or
Okay.
it is more of a lifestyle or way of eating where it concentrates on when you eat rather than what you eat. Because, and there are various kinds of intermittent fasting. Even overnight fasting is intermittent fasting. That's why they say one of the reasons when you sleep well, you heal well also, they say. So you're giving your body some rest for it to reset itself. So that's the way you have, like, the most famous, I think, is 16 hours. Before I come to that, it's cycling between fasting and feeding. We call it fasting window, feeding window in the nutrition terminologies. So there are various kinds where usually some people fast for 12 hours, eat for 12 hours in the 24 hours cycle. Then some fast for 16 hours, eat for 8 hours. It's something else is called 5:2, where 5 days they eat properly and 2 days they go on a little low calorie type of diet. But yes, intermittent fasting is picking up very nicely. The research part of it also is picking up very nicely, because for weight loss, yes, it is one of the viable tools.
Yeah, I think we just, no problem. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So I said for intermittent fasting, it has many other benefits also, not just weight loss. It also helps us in many, like, it protects our body from all the type of free radicals or the damage we get through pollution or other type of eating. It also helps in our better brain function also, it helps, they say. And we have it autophagy, it's called in scientific term, but that is like throwing away all the debris and unclean part from the cells. So it helps in many other things. But again, everybody cannot attempt intermittent fasting just because it sounds cool or good. So it's to each one his own. So we will have to decide and pick and choose.
So you said intermittent fasting will definitely make my brain cells work better.
Yes, it does, because it helps in activating or a type of brain-related hormone.
Okay.
So they say it helps in trying to postpone, or it helps in not setting off dementia, Alzheimer's. But yeah, heavy research is going on there. It's called brain-derived neurotropic hormone, I think. So that is what it helps.
That's definitely good news.
Yeah,
If
and
not
also
for me.
just that I remember with intermittent fasting also, it sensitizes our body to various hormones, like how they should function. Like insulin should function in one way. There is a hunger hormone, ghrelin, how it has to be secreted. There's something called leptin hormone, which it's a satiety which makes you feel full. So all these hormones also start getting secreted nicely in intermittent fasting for one sector of people. So whatever I say applies to one sector of people, all the diets.
Okay. Hey, thanks for that very nice explanation and a lot of insights, Arpita. But there are so many options, like so many types of diets, so many options. But how do we really decide what's the right diet?
Yeah, that's $1 billion question, because yes, you cannot look at somebody and guess that, okay, this diet might suit her, this diet might suit him. But yes, there are there is science, and you'll have to, but that's what we do even at Credo Health. What we do is we have our AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning enabled technology, which gives us lots of data insights, and we continuously monitor people through the various data or the various even Bluetooth enabled devices, and we draw up a precision care plan. So though nutrition, it's not just about nutrition. Some people may need medicine management. Some people may need continuous monitoring of vitals, or some people may need a psychologist support. Some people may need a physiotherapist, or some people just may need a fitness coach. So having this whole holistic approach, using a combination of our intelligent platform, our clinical expertise, and continuous ongoing research, we decide and we propose what kind of diet will suit each person. So that the experience is always pleasant, and it'll either help you to manage your condition better, or maybe prevent some complications, or maybe in some cases even reverse certain chronic. So it's an art to decode the chronic care, no? So that's what we try and do at Credo Health.
Okay, so it's just not just one size fits all. It's customized to every human being.
That's why you have to be under expert supervision always.
Anyway, I have you. So, yeah. So I guess Arpita, thanks for that. I think our audience has started asking questions
Yeah,
a little
yeah, I
bit.
have started seeing some questions. I saw as we were talking, I thought I will just take it up
Yeah.
later.
One
Yeah.
question is protein good for weight loss?
Protein is good for weight loss. It again depends. See, everybody, yeah, that's one more thing. It's a good question. I didn't see who asked it, but it's a good question because protein to an extent, yes, it makes you feel full and
Hmm.
you will not reach out to food. But otherwise, also, if you eat too much of protein, what happens is it might get stored again as it will get converted to glucose and it can again get stored as fat. Or it can be used to make carbohydrates when needed. So it's a direct yes or no question. I cannot say it is good for health, it is bad for health, but don't have too high protein unless you are into heavy gymming or you're an athlete or you're into any other sports. But yes, don't skimp on proteins either. But proteins give you a little feeling of fullness. So yes, it may help in weight loss, but yes, it always works in a synergistic environment, not just protein. We have to see the fiber, carbohydrates, fats, everything together.
Okay, so it's a more holistic rather than, just one food.
Yes. I see a question which says side
Yeah.
effects of being vegan.
Hmm.
So side effects of being vegan is we have to be a little careful with vitamin B12 deficiency or vitamin D deficiency just because we are avoiding lots of milk products. So our nutrient, so maybe we'll have to have some fermented products which have bacteria, good bacteria, and with the intrinsic factor, they will produce some amount of vitamin B12 in the body. So there is always a solution, but yes, these two side effects, and if it's not done properly and your meals are not planned properly, nutritionally balanced, in vegan there might be other side effects like you. I mean, just to name, you might lose hair, or you might get into the, as I said, vitamin D and vitamin B12 deficiencies are one of the known. So they'll have to really plan these two things.
Okay. So there's one question somebody has asked, is there any diet for weight gain? Now that's interesting.
Yeah, there is a diet. First of all, before going for a diet for weight gain, we need to see what is happening in the body that is making you lose weight, or what is it that why you're not gaining weight. So once these clinical parameters are clear, of course there is a diet. It doesn't mean just go and binge on junk food. So we will tell how you can gain weight also, because it should be healthy weight. Like it can be a fruit milkshake with some nuts added to it, some chia seeds added to it. So a combination. So there is, of course, there is a diet for weight gain.
Okay, that's interesting. There's one question which comes up. Are keto and Atkins diet the same?
Keto or Atkins diets are there? No, they are not same. Though both come from a philosophy of low carb diet. As I was mentioning, I think with Atkins, there is no cap on proteins or fats. They can eat how much ever proteins or fat as far as carbohydrates is kept low. But whereas in keto, there is a discipline about so much percentage should come from carbs, so much percentage from protein, and so much from fat. And it's not a high, keto is not a high protein diet. It is a moderate, adequate type of protein. And also the intention of being in keto diet is send the body in ketosis, as I was mentioning. But in Atkins diet, no, we keep increasing the carbs. So necessarily or not in ketosis always. So yes, though they are similar, the philosophies are different.
Okay, the outcomes are also different, is what you're saying.
Outcomes, and it is again, I cannot answer an yes or no, because for some people it might help. It might reverse a heart disease to an extent. But then when you keep overdoing it, the benefit might stop.
Got it. Yeah, there's an interesting question which has come up. Is there a miracle diet that will help me lose weight fast? This is something I'm sure everybody would like
Then
to ask.
okay, then you'll have to connect with me personally or connect with Credo. Then we will see what the miracle diet is. Because yes, I mean, the jokes apart, but then there is no one size fits all, right? So there is, that's the whole point of conversations of today, that there are different kinds of diet which we need to pick and choose according to our metabolic health, according to our uh, health needs, according to the feasibility of whether we can cook those or not. So yes, as far as I know, there is no one miracle diet. And if somebody says this is miracle diet, take a U-turn and go from there, because it's just a fiction.
Okay. And yes, which is the best diet for diabetic patients? There's a
Okay.
question.
Yes, see, it depends on, see, first of all, there is type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and it depends on whether you want to manage your diabetes, then there is a diet. If you want to reverse your diabetes, also there is a diet. So, there are, what the best diet is, yes, the best diet is where we can exactly tell how much carbs you need, how much protein, how much fat. But again, whether you want to manage and postpone the complications, or whether you want to reverse the diabetes. So that
Okay.
is what we are expert in at Credo Health. One of our flagship program is also diabetes reversal. So I think
Oh,
we'll need to talk more to know about this.
got it. Yeah. So one person has said, how will eating fat lead to weight loss?
Excellent. I don't know who asked this question, but an excellent question. Because when you think about it, fat is actually not the enemy or the foe that we feel it is. Okay, see, any product which has lots of fat will go bad very quickly. It will go rancid very quickly. So think about it. When industrialization began, the gap between your farm and the folk reduced. Why? Because they removed the fat, and carbohydrate has more of only, it's just carbs. It does not have fat or too much of water. So shelf life increased, the profits increased. And when you go back and think, from the time low fat products have started coming into our market, is our obesity decreased? Is our heart disease decreased? Is our diabetes decreased? No, we have only increased. So it is just marketed well that carbohydrate is a saint and fat is the monster, but it is not that. It is just the marketing talk. And especially to this person who has asked, see, nature never makes bad fats. So anything which is fatty, which is available in the nature, be it nuts, be it seeds, be it olive, or even cold pressed oils, all those are very good for health. Even ghee. It's the refined oils which we say it's
Hmm.
free of cholesterol, all that. That is where you have to be careful. And on packaged product is something called hydrogenated fats. It's like the dalda, which is
Hmm.
man-made, not natural. Refined oils is not natural, man-made. These are the type of fats we have to be careful about, not the natural occurring fats.
Okay. So fats are actually heroes, is what you're saying, not the
Fats
villains.
are fats are friends, and
Okay.
carbs are not always the saints we think they are.
Okay. So there's one interesting question. Somebody says, I have heard we have to eat every 2 hours to reduce weight. I'm doing that. But my weight
Good.
loss has stopped now after losing weight initially. I think somebody has just
Perfect.
experienced and
I know.
yeah.
See, this is what happens. See, again, this kind of eating pattern might suit some people, but not necessarily it suits everyone. Because there is something called hormone insulin, which we always know as it is a glucose reducing hormone, but it has another function called fat storing. It is also a fat storing hormone. So for some people, when they keep eating every 2 hours to bring down those glucose levels, this insulin keeps getting released. So what happens is, after a while, initial there will be weight reduction. There might be some water loss, there might be some muscle loss, but then it won't be sustainable, because these many type of people who eat, many people, sorry, who eat this type of diet, after a while they hit a plateau. And this is definitely the question that comes in. So it's
Hmm.
not always, eating 2 hours might not always work. Otherwise, there wouldn't be research on intermittent fasting, or there wouldn't be research on whether 3 meals is good or 6 meals is good. So again, we'll have to see your metabolic build and then decide whether this suits you or not.
Got it, Arpita. Yeah. So one question that we have here is, how do we calculate calories in regular food?
How do we calculate? Don't calculate calories is what I would say. It's somebody else's job. You do your job. You will, otherwise you will go. It is a very mind-boggling exercise. How do we calculate? Means if you want to really know, you have to read through the courses of nutrition. So otherwise, you can Google it. Approximately, you will find this food group will give this much of calories, or this much of carbs, or this much of proteins. So how do we calculate? Is we need to study up and then, or Google up. That's the closest I can say.
Okay, just one more question probably we'll take is, why do so many diets nowadays promote fat? We may land
Yeah,
up in diseases. Oh my God. Somebody's already come to the conclusion that by eating fat, we will land up in
correct. I think this is what I just answered. So fat is, it's just not marketed well, fat. The carbs are marketed better. So if you have natural fats and not man-made fats, it is good. It's not going to be bad. So somebody
Okay.
is asking, is reversal possible? Definitely. We have people here, we have members here who were on multiple diabetes medicine, and then we started withdrawing one by one. And diet is, of course, a major part. But as I said, we have our intelligent digital platform also, which gives us minute to minute insights about what is happening in your body. I mean, to give you a very quick, beautiful example, many people think ragi, the finger millet, especially South Indians, it's very good for us. So anybody, especially who is diabetic, has lots of ragi. So, but then when we monitor them through our Bluetooth-enabled devices or other the devices, what happens is whoever has ragi, not all, but most of them, we see a sugar spike in them, which is a total shock to the person, because all these days they were thinking that ragi is good and eating, but once we withdraw ragi and add something else, we see a very nice blunt curve. So that is one part. But reversal, coming back to the question, reversal is definitely possible, because we have here members, we have where they were on multiple medications, now they have left medications. Of course, they were very diligent with their diet, but slowly they started having normal type of food also, and they are still off medications. So yes, it is very much possible.
I think
Reversal.
that's a really blessing for somebody who's been living with diabetes and, I mean, getting to have all those medicines and taking.
I, correct. I see another question. Is it possible for me to lose 10 kgs in 3 days? Straight answer, no. If somebody is telling you that, then it's worrisome. Something is wrong with us if we are losing 10 kgs in 3 days.
Unless
I'll
you go
take,
to
I think,
food.
I know. We'll take another couple of questions, I think.
Yeah.
Any side effects of intermittent fasting? Side effects, I wouldn't say it. First of all, if somebody has type 1 diabetes, or they are pregnant, lactating, kids, or if they have eating disorders, then there might be not just side effects. It is wrong to do intermittent fasting. But side effects is again when you don't have proper balanced meal, or when you're not hydrated. Because many people think that if I don't fasting is complete fasting, no drinking water. So hydration is very important. If you plan your meals properly and you're well hydrated during the fasting period, there will be no side effects. But you might get, sometimes if you plunge into it very quickly, you might feel a little just because you're not used to that. So take it slow. Do it 12 hours, do it 13 hours. Then you go and stick to other higher kind of fasting windows. Okay, it is the same question. Can everybody do intermittent fasting? I think I just said. There is Sunny
One
asking it.
question,
Yeah.
Namrata, somebody's asked, I've been told that crash diets help lose weight fast. Will I gain back the weight I lost just as fast? Now, this is a question which I've also wanted to, kind of ask you. Yeah.
If you want to crash your health, please go on crash diet. That's all I can answer. Because anything which is too good, you cannot do crash dieting. And yes, once you go back to eating what it is, you will gain back weight, because its crash diet will only be a temporary weight loss. It's the water loss. But having said all that, I think diet itself is, people think diet means I have to suffer. It is just a pattern of eating nicely, pattern of eating healthy. If you expect that today I'm going to diet and I have gained my goal, and from tomorrow I'm going to eat junk, if you go back to eating what you were eating, you will invite back all the diseases that you had. So it's more of a lifestyle change and clean type of eating than the yo-yo effect of you lose weight, you gain weight, you lose weight, you gain weight. It doesn't work. Body snaps after a while.
I guess whatever you do, you have to do it sustainably.
Yes. So that's why we help you to pick up the right program for you where it can have lots of sustainability.
See, one interesting question I think we should answer is like most health coaches prefer green tea. Somebody said.
So you can't, what I can answer short before, you cannot green tea your way out of your unhealthy lifestyle. So people don't exercise. People will eat whatever they want, all type of junk. And sometimes to get over that guilt, they will say, today I will have green tea. It doesn't help. Only when green tea is combined with a healthy type of eating with enough exercise, not being sedentary, then the effects of the green tea, the antioxidants in that is all seen. But just by having 3 cups of green tea and eating junk all the day is not going to help.
Got it. I mean, you can't just, have your biryanis and everything, and your pizzas and your pastas and then gulp down green tea. Doesn't help, does it?
Correct.
So I guess there will be a lot of questions coming up, guys, but I think we have to wrap up this session now. Thanks for participating and stay tuned to Credo Health. Keep posting your questions. We will definitely reach out to all of you. We will get back with the answers. So thanks all for joining. That was a really nice of all of you to join. And thanks, Arpita, for very patiently taking us through the different types of diets and also answering our questions. See you soon.
I hope the session was helpful. Yeah, I would also like to thank everyone, and thanks, Shasta.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
And bye. Night. Thank you.
Bye.